Hey guys, you got a Chevy pickup like this and you think you got to change the fuel pump? Follow along here. I'm going to give you a few tips I learned when I recently did that on my truck. Alright, so like I said out there, I'm going to share with you guys just a few tips I learned when I did the fuel pump on my 03 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. Pretty much going to be the same whether you got a 1500 or even an S10 pickup. Now, if you're this far watching the video trying to change the fuel pump by yourself, you know it's a pain in the butt because you got to get to the top of the fuel tank to get that thing changed out. I'm going to give you my first tip. Number one, run the truck out of gas or as close to it as you can before you change this fuel pump. And I know there's already some of you guys going, yeah right, if I could drive my truck around and run it out of gas, I wouldn't be wanting to fix my fuel pump because my fuel pump would be working. Well, let me share a little trade secret with you. If you hop in your truck and you go to start it and you determine the fuel pump's bad because it cranks, it'll fire and then die immediately, or it won't fire anymore. Take a rubber mallet or the toe of your boot and go out there underneath the bottom of the gas tank and give it about 3 or 4 good raps on the bottom of it, right up near the front of the tank where the fuel pump is. A lot of times that'll free things up in there and it'll start working for you again. That's exactly what happened with my truck. I was able to get it off the road when that happened to me just from kicking the bottom of the tank. So that happens, drive it, get that gas down because that makes things so much easier if you're going to go with method number one of fixing it, which is dropping the tank down. That's the way I did it on my truck. It's really easy actually. There's just 2 straps, 2 with a bolt in each strap, holding it up into place. Let those bolts down, and you'll have to also go to the fuel filler door and take a couple bolts out. I'll show you right now what I'm talking about. Okay, so once you get those straps down, those bolts out, the tank will just come down. You got to work the hose a little bit to let it slide down. You can at least get it on its side and work at it from there. Big pain in the butt to get at that way. Other people have techniques. They will raise the bed. I think there's 8 bed bolts. You can take all the bolts out and lift up that side of the bed and get to the top of the tank. Some guys, hey, if it suits your fancy, they'll just chop a hole in the bed right up there near the front corner, right behind the driver's side there, the cab, in the bed. Chop a hole, get into it. Hey, that's great, especially if you're going to drive this truck forever and you got to change the fuel pump a few more times. There you go, easy access. Whatever floats your boat. I dropped the tank. I found it the easiest way. Okay, next tip I got for you has to do, and this is a really big one. Okay, this is huge actually. It made me do this twice because I got it wrong the first time. This has to do with how this thing's wired up. Now, you're going to order a fuel pump, and it's going to come with probably a different plug than what your truck is. This is the one out of my truck. It has a square plug, and when it came out, the new one came with flat 4, but it comes with a pigtail, and you're just going to have to snip the wires and connect the wires that come out of the truck harness to the fuel pump. Very easy, right? In fact, and this is the key, this is my warning to all you guys. If you guys buy the O'Reilly brand like I did, which is great, it works well, it's the Precision fuel pump. If you guys buy this one, I gotta warn you, it comes with instructions on how to connect that pigtail. And this is what my truck looked like right here. Out of my vehicle body harness, I had these 4 color wires. Black, which was large, black small, purple, white, and gray. Now, most of the time on GM vehicles, most wire harnesses you deal with, gray is going to be your fuel pump power. Okay, there's a tip for you. Gray is your fuel pump power. And in fact, here's the old fuel pump out of my truck. You can see why. If you come and look at the wires that come out of there, the gray wire comes right down and feeds into the fuel pump itself. There's power for it, there's the ground for it, and then these 2 purple wires are for your low fuel level sensing and the fuel level indicator sender. Okay, so the gray wire is your power wire out of your harness. However, if you look at this chart that came with my new fuel pump, it tells me to connect that gray wire out of the truck to the black wire on the connector. And in fact, the gray wire on the connector goes to the black small gauge wire out of the truck. Now, this caused me some great issue because I couldn't decide whether to do what I thought was right or to follow the directions. I followed the directions, and guess what? I got it wrong. If you get this fuel pump, again, the Precision one from O'Reilly or anywhere else, and it tells you to connect that gray wire from the harness to a black wire, and there's a gray wire option, I'm going to guess the gray wire is what you need to connect it to. Swap those 2, connect the gray to the gray, okay? That'll get you out of trouble because the gray wire is going to be the power wire, most likely out of your vehicle harness. That was huge. I put it all together, it didn't start. Drop the tank again, switch those 2 wires, put it back, fired up, has worked like a champ since. Okay, I hope I saved some of you guys a little bit of pain. Hopefully you guys don't have to drop that tank twice like I did. If you got a better technique for changing that fuel pump, if you've had a similar experience, or you know a better way to do this, let me know. Let everybody else know. Throw a comment down below. Thanks for watching.